Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. If you've missed our reactions to the divisional round and our predictions for the conference championships, make sure to go and watch those videos. But for this one, we're just gonna dive right in and go over some of the head coaching vacancies that have been filled. So, first teams up is the Carolina Panthers. They hired Dave Canales. Recently, he was not just last year. He was with the Seahawks, the QB coach that really helped Geno Smith turn his career around. And this year, he was the Bucks OC that really helped Baker and really turn his career around. Really have his comeback season. Before that, he was really just with Seattle on the offensive coaching staff. But yeah, now he's the Carolina Panthers head coach. So, how are you guys feeling about this hire?
Yeah, I'm a fan. I probably not the greatest name in my opinion. I mean, but you're the Carolina Panthers. You're stuck at QB with the guy that you can't replace right now, and not much talent around it, and missing a first round pick. So not the most desirable spot for a coach to come in. But I mean, great pick. Like you said, just turned around Geno Smith's career last year, and Baker had probably his career year, making it to the division round, playing amazing. Not too many bad games this season that I can really talk about, even though I was not the biggest fan of him. But yeah, just great pickup. I mean, you got a guy that's going to work with Bryce Young, hopefully, kind of help him develop, take that step forward. Didn't have the greatest year, but it's rookie year. Anything can happen after this, and it's great that you got a guy. Hopefully, they keep him around, see how those two can kind of evolve. And I mean, we saw with the Texans and the with Stroud and D'Amico Ryans when you get that coach and that star QB pairing, it pretty much changes your franchise around. So I can see that the Panthers kind of had the same idea here, and I like the signing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for what they got, I think it's practical, good value um, for a team that's probably, not expecting to get many wins for the next few years, kind of rebuilding. Um, I think it's a good pick. Obviously, like Braden said, you know, Bryce Young is probably going to be the focus of that team for a while, just for what they used to get him. Um, being that first overall pick, it's kind of hard to just give up on that. But I don't think you give up. You can give up on him. I think you can believe in him. I think if you watch the tape, yeah, statistically, the wins weren't there, but if you watch and look at how he played, I think the future's bright. Um, I still think he could definitely come into it, and just needs the talent around him to kind of bring out his his growth. Um, so yeah, I think it's a good move. You obviously you've seen the resume that he was able to help guys, Gino, Baker, kind of help them bring back their careers, save their careers. So definitely think this was probably a move to kind of focus on Bryce Young and just kind of help develop him for the next few years. So I think for what's out there right now and the situation they're in, this is probably the best they're going to get because obviously they're not a big name organization and definitely not a winning program that coaches want to be in. So that at this point they're taking what they can get, and if they can help develop Bryce Young, that's best case scenario for them.
Yeah, definitely agree with you guys. Probably the best coaching hire they were going to get, seeing the position they're in, the position the team is in. But it's definitely the right step. They're in the right direction. If they were really committed to seeing Bryce Young develop, then yeah, this was the first step, and next would be surrounding him with talent. So we'll find out if and how they do that because we know that they don't have their first round pick. So see how that goes. But yeah, the next coaching hire, New England Patriots. This was a little bit, maybe a few weeks ago, hired former Patriots linebacker Jared Mayo. He was pretty much the successor to Belichick. I don't want to say all along, but it seems like for a while, I guess they kind of had him picked to be the guy. He was also a hot defensive coordinator candidate for a little bit these last couple of years, or at least that's what media was trying to make it out to be when trying to get him jobs. But yeah, he's lands with New England and places Bill Belichick. I think this one's going to turn out.
I don't know. I mean, I think obviously this is definitely an in-house pick, just kind of the resident he had with them. We know post Brady and with Brady, they were kind of Patriots have always been a very defensive minded organization, and kind of exemplified and more so after Brady. So I think he brings that to the team. Definitely, like you said, maybe he was kind of, I guess the word I would groomed into that position to where maybe all along he was kind of set up to at whenever they decided they were going to move on from Belichick, that he was going to take over. Um, yeah, tough to really looking at any other names out there that would kind of take this position. We know the Patriots are a reputable organization, so it made sense that they kind of went in house, just someone they have history with. Um, Whether it's going to really bring any success into fruition, kind of hard to say. I mean, at the end of the day, the team right now is definitely has a lot of things to figure out that aren't really at the coaching position, kind of more personnel players. So, I mean, I don't want to say that it was a good or a bad pick. It just a pick that made sense for the team, for the organization. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think it's gonna like bring immediate success, but you know, it's gonna. I think it'll take. I think he's in a good position, especially having been there, and it seems like he was probably being kind of warmed up to take that position over once Belichick left.
Yeah, I'm not really into the Patriots news, but I kind of had this as a surprise to me. I had them taking another alumni of their team. I thought they were going to go for Vrabel. Thought he was going to be the pick here, but I think Jerome Man is also a great pick. I mean, yeah, they groomed him in house, so it makes sense. Played under Belichick, coached with Belichick. I mean, that defense has been the greatest part of New England pretty much since Brady left. It's been the only thing that's been consistent for that team, so I can see why they want to see if they can ride that success. I think he'll be a great coach. I liked him as a player. I think he's been, I mean, like I said, defensively wise, the Patriots, that's not where they're questioned at most of the time. So great pick. Yeah, curious to see how this team moves forward. Yeah, I don't expect too much immediate success right now, but I can see them kind of starting to come back, look a lot better this year. I know sometimes they just really didn't even look like they could compete with any team in the NFL, so I don't think they'll show that too much anymore. But yeah, I definitely think they're kind of far away from being in that contender spot. So, but great hire. I like it.
Yeah, we'll see what their actual plan is with GM. Maybe I missed that part, but yeah, I think that was the main thing with New England was Belichick was still a great defensive minded coach. I think it was just the talent that he was handpicking in the drafts for agency. I think that was the big problem everybody kind of points to. But yeah, we'll see how he does in the division with Josh Allen.
I love the Belichick memes about his draft picks. They're so funny.
I guess his dog took him.
I believe
Uh,
that was the Cole Strange pick.
that one, and when they joke about like that man just ran a 6 flat 40. I want him. Oh, those ones are funny. Those ones kill me.
I love the ones where it's like a white grocery bagger at Costco. Next great
Tired.
Patriot receiver.
Oh yeah, those are funny.
Yeah, the next coaching hire, which is probably the biggest one from the other day, was LA Chargers finally bringing back Jim Harbaugh, former quarterback for the Chargers. I don't really need to go over his resume. He's just won a national championship at Michigan, but yeah, he finally came back and for the Chargers. I felt like I was probably the one that was in denial about that one, but so good, great, bad move. What's your guys' take?
Great move. I mean, I kind of saw this as the one obvious pick to me. It just kind of works out perfectly. I mean, Harbaugh wins the Natty. I mean, a spot like the Chargers don't open up very often when you have a franchise QB at such a young age and just having an open job position. So, I mean, that's kind of the one thing you look for as a head coach because that kind of saves or has a short job depending on how your QB plays. So makes perfect sense, especially him playing there in his career. So looked like it was kind of a match made in heaven. Chargers definitely want a kind of veteran coach. I mean, they haven't really hit on the last few ones, so that's good to see them get someone that already has that kind of resume of having success as a head coach in this league. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't know if you guys agree, but I don't think he should have got fired from the Niners. It worked out because they eventually got Shanahan, but he was always great for the Niners. I didn't think he had one bad season, which was like 8-8, which I think most teams in this league would take. So we see what he did at Michigan. Still a great coach. We see what his brother's doing right now. Have kind of similar philosophies. So you see it works in the NFL. So I like it. This could change the Chargers around. I know a lot of people are saying this could end the definition of chargering, which I won't be too surprised at. So I like it. Great to see it. Yeah, you don't get a quarterback like Justin Herbert very often.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good move. I I don't want to take anything away from Harbaugh, but I do want to preface that this is not because he won the Natty and he deserves to be in the NFL. It's strictly because he's avoiding the sanctions. Um, Otherwise, he would stay with Michigan, I'm sure. But yeah, no, I mean, definitely good move for the Chargers. I think um, they've kind of been in a stalemate for the last few years. This year is definitely the worst. So, I mean, the firing didn't really come as a surprise, just with kind of how the league has been, where unless you're that huge name coach that just kind of has a reputation of not really being fireable, anybody's on the hot seat at any point. And we're even seeing names like Belichick being moved on from. So we're in a league where anybody regardless
Unemployed.
of yeah. So yeah, I mean we'll see what it's going to look like for Chargers Herbert. I know there's a lot of talks of like he wanted to bring McCarthy with him. So what that's going to look like for the Chargers, not sure. I mean, I can't imagine that if somehow they landed McCarthy, that I mean, unless by some miracle he just looks phenomenal right away, that Herbert isn't really going to be the guy. So we'll see. I'm not sure. You got to assume it's going to be Herbert. I think with what Herbert's been able to do, I still think he's the guy. Um, but yeah, I mean, good pickup. Made sense. I mean, the only other team was maybe the Raiders that we were kind of thinking that he could possibly land, but yeah, good opportunity, good timing. That just so happens a team he kind of has history with needed a coach and he needed a team. So um, yeah, good pickup for them. We'll see what that means for them in the future. I still think they can be a playoff team. Um, just kind of need to figure things out, and maybe he'll bring that culture of a winning resume to that team and kind of help turn things around.
Yeah, it was definitely a hire the Chargers needed. Like you said, they needed a culture changer, and he's definitely that guy. Uh, Chargers, Justin Herbert fans might just they might just be crying tears of joy at this point that this might just save. Well, I think this will save Herbert's career as far as him making runs. I think it's definitely a higher chance now I'm not gonna go sit here and crown them that they're going to win the division or anything like that because you're still in Mahomes' division. So yeah, I can definitely see him finishing like second maybe, but still it's still a tough division. That they all play each other tough, but yeah, he does have a track record though of building teams up, being great contenders, but then he also has on the other side where something kind of goes wrong and things just end up going south. So, like you said at the Michigan, he's leaving. Yes, he won the championship, but there's still that investigation. And with the Niners, it seemed like something just self imploded in the locker room or something. The GM and owner, I can't remember what it was, but I do remember seeing that. So yeah, that's something to remember. But overall, I think it's a great pickup from them, just like you guys. The next coach, I don't think we're gonna have much on this one, too. Honestly, the Tennessee Titans hire um, Brian Callahan. It's pretty much the Bengals OC the last couple of years was with he bounced around from like Denver when he was some assistant while Manning was there, and then bounced around to like, Detroit and Raiders, I think. So I don't know. I don't got much on this one. You guys have anything on him?
Yeah, I don't really have anything. Um, I don't think they really should have moved on from Vrabel. So to me, it's whatever. Not really a big name in the league. Not really a move to kind of help their chances of a successful season. I don't know. I don't really have nothing.
Yeah, not too much. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, wasn't a fan of them hiring Brable. Kind of with Bryson on that one. But yeah, I not even that big a fan. I feel like I've heard his name around a few times, so I don't think he's that bad of a coach, but I don't think he's that great. I think he was just kind of a product of being on a top offense with the Bengals, having Jamar Chase and all these weapons and Joe Burrow. So kind of a desperate pick. Thought there was a lot of better candidates out there still. Still some of them still playing in the playoffs, so can't really do too much with that. But yeah, I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on this one.
Yeah, this one came out of nowhere to me as well. Even just the firing of Vrabel, that one definitely came out of left field. Should have just retained him, honestly. But they move on to an offensive minded coach, I guess. We'll see how that turns out. Not really confident he'll last that long, but I could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong. Rather see a guy succeed, but yeah, we'll find out. Another one, Atlanta Falcons hire Raheem Morris, more of a defensive-minded coach, bounced around. I think a lot of teams actually. I think he was with the Rams last, but even before that, he was actually with the Falcons. He was their interim head coach as well. So familiar face, face to bring him back. And I know a lot of players like him. Seems to be like one of the coaches that everybody seems to praise that never got a chance. So I guess we'll find out how he does this time with the Atlanta Falcons. So
Yeah, I'll start this one off. Being our being a Rams fan, tough to see him go. Obviously, I liked him as our defensive coordinator. Um, a lot of big names who kind of worked with him and all have good things to say about him. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Um, I like what he's been able to do with our defense. I definitely thought, you know, as much as I don't want him to go, he was very deserving of a head coaching position. Um, and I definitely think his time with Sean McVay has definitely probably helped give him an edge. Because I think McVay is one of the better young coaches in the league, who one of those kind of untouchable coaches right now. Um, so yeah, definitely. I mean, they needed to move on from Smith, and hopefully we'll see kind of that offense start to blossom. I know he's a defensive minded coach, but um, anything at this point is probably better than Arthur Smith. So, if we're being honest, we'll see what the Falcons offseason looks like with who's still going to be there. Obviously, we're going to see Bijan, Drake London, who knows, Kyle Pitts. But yeah, we'll see if he can. I'm sure it's not going to be specifically him because he's more defensive minded. But he'll at least allow whatever the OCs, the other coaches, to kind of help bring out the talent that he has, and utilize them to their best of their abilities. But yeah, I like it. I mean, as an organizational move, don't like it as a Rams fan, seeing him go. But yeah, very deserving, I think. And with his tenure with the Falcons, it made sense. Someone they know, someone who they've watched go and have success on another team, being able to work with and under McVay, kind of learn from him, and hopefully he'll bring whatever he got from his time there back to the Falcons. And yeah, I mean, I think it was a good move. You know, one of the names out there that was very deserving of a head coaching position. So
Yeah, I'm a little mixed feelings on this one. I definitely kind of was surprised by this move. This is where I had Belichick kind of slated. I thought this team needed a culture rebuild, and no one better than that. But I like Raheem Morris. I think he's a great coach. The reason I'm conflicted is because I kind of wanted to see an offensive coordinator or an offensive-minded guy go into this position. I mean, we've talked about all year what they have on offense and just how lacking it is. Just never got going, and I mean, you have the talent. They're all super young players early in their careers, still entering their prime. So I like Raheem Morris. I think he was great. I mean, like you said, he was great for the Rams. Has a long history in his career of having success. So I don't hate the pick. I like it. I like him as a coach. But yeah, I personally wanted to see an offensive-minded coach just get in here and kind of just do something that Arthur Smith couldn't do and get this to be a respectable offense that is consistent and not trying to see who's the guy that gets 0 touches this game from their big playmakers. So, but I think he did a lot better job than him. So excited for this, but yeah, personally not my favorite.
I don't think Belichick would be good for that offense.
No, but it's Belichick, so
Yeah.
yeah, that was the only. I get it. He's not offensive minded either, but
Yeah.
but you can get Belichick.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
Belichick.
get you. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I like the hire, but see how he does next year. Definitely a good opportunity for him. And well, the last one so far, I don't know if you guys want to go too much into this one since I think we kind of expected this one with the Raiders just pretty much making Antonio Pierce full-time head coach at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make this quick. No surprise here. I mean, Raiders turned it around since they fired. I can't even. Who they fire again? I can't even remember his name.
Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels. Yeah. Seen them turn it around, and I mean, like I said, head coaches want QBs, and this team had none. They benched Jimmy Garoppolo. They were kind of running with some guys you find on the waiver wire, not the biggest names, and they look competitive. I mean, they beat the Chiefs. It's not an easy feat, even though the Raiders always play them good, but makes sense. You want to keep riding with the hot hand, someone that players love in their locker room. So, yeah, no surprise.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, not much really to add to that. Kind of couldn't really see it going the other way. It just wouldn't make sense. I mean, yeah, there's some big names out there, but the fact that he was able to come in, kind of turn things around, like you said, culture, um, and sometimes that's more important than bringing in a big name who has a resume of success. Um, so yeah, made sense. Definitely deserved it for what he was able to do. The situation he came into, turn things around, change the culture, just kind of change a team's mentality, kind of chemistry, all that. Brought that in the locker room. So can't really, especially if the players are kind of backing him, you don't really want to take that away right away and then throw in somebody new who is going to have to start all over from scratch. So it made sense.
Yeah, I don't got much to add to this. I mean, yeah, like I said, it was expected, and yeah, we've seen what he did to end the year, so it seemed like a hire that made sense. So yeah, with that, we pretty much went over all the head coaching hires over this. Well, it's not even off season yet, but they're in this playoff season. Only two remaining is the Commanders and the Seahawks. So I really don't know if they're just waiting for guys like Ben Johnson from the Lions or even um, Mike McDonald, defensive coordinator from the Ravens. I really don't know if like that's their plan. Both of them are who they're actually trying to grab, but Bill Belichick is still on the board. So last question: do we think he signs with either of these teams, or will he be just sitting on the couch next season?
I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, the Seahawks. I don't know. I mean, are the Seahawks as an organization, can they like stomach having Belichick as their head coach? Just with the history between the two of their teams and the Super Bowls, and um, I mean, can they look past that for having a successful coach? And I don't know. Commanders, I don't know. I like it's tough because I feel like even with Belichick, I mean the Commanders. I don't think they're going to be any different than what they are. Um, I don't know. It's a tough one because I mean I still think there's some other names out there. I mean even Vrabel, I feel like he definitely deserves to be somewhere. Um,
Mm.
so I'm not sure. I mean that's a tough one. I don't know. I can't say Belichick. I can't imagine him on either of those teams. It just doesn't feel right. Especially more so the Seahawks for sure. Doesn't feel right him being there, but even the Commanders, I don't know. The only one that I could, I don't know. I just feel like because the Seahawks, I don't think because he's definitely the type of coach to like want the controls, but I don't think the Seahawks would give it to him.
I don't know. Their GM has
Yeah.
more power than Pete Carroll, as you can
So
see. They kind of forced him to
maybe the
retire.
Commanders is the only one of the two that makes sense. I don't think it like truly makes sense, but it the Seahawks just make even less sense. So I don't know. I can't see it being the Seahawks. So I guess if I had to pick the one of the two, if those are my only two choices, I'd say the Commanders. But
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to be doing next year because I don't see either of these teams, especially not the Seahawks. I mean, you just got rid of Pete Carroll. I feel like he had a great year. I mean, he never really had a bad season, in my opinion. Always kept his team competitive, and they got rid of him. So I kind of get the sense that they want to go younger, and Belichick isn't the answer for that. Makes sense for Belichick because you want to put him in a team that's already kind of built. That's why I don't think he would want to go to the Commanders. It's definitely a downgrade from the Patriots, which is hard to do. And but he would. I mean, I can see the Commanders wanting him because you want someone that's gonna, I mean, redefine your whole franchise, and he's the guy for it. But I
mm,
can't see Belichick wanting that job. I mean, I think at that point you might as well consider retiring and base your kind of stats you have. I mean, you're ready in that conversation for the best coach. You have the records, you have the winning percentage, and it's all going to go downhill if you go with the Commanders because you can change their franchise around, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take you a few years, and I don't think Belichick plans to be around in the league that much longer. So, yeah, curious to see what he does, but I don't see him with either of those two teams.
Yeah, I don't really see either team going after him either. Oh, I feel like they're both of them. Yeah, gonna go younger. I think Seattle sticks with a defensive minded head coach. Then yeah, Washington obviously sticks. They go to an offensive minded coach. So yeah, we'll see what actually happens. Maybe it'll just be doing I don't know game day for college football again. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our news around the league. All those head coaching hires. So yeah, again, if you want to see our reactions to last round's playoffs or see our predictions for this week's playoffs, make sure to check out our other videos. And until next time, shoots.
Ooh.
Two.